Hey guys, thanks for playing along in our little swing quiz the other day. I wanted to send this video to kind of help further explain one of the issues, and I'm going to use one of the product commercials on the right for a really popular hitting tool. The tool itself is fantastic. The only issue that I have is the swing itself that's being illustrated has some things in there that we'll talk about. In fact, we're going to use the tool to show why this movement is inefficient. But when you look at the player on the left, our guinea pig for the quiz, he's at about 113-degree angle right there. And again, these are not exactly accurate, but they'll give us a decent idea. And when we look at this player, you can see that it's fairly close to where he's at as well, and it kind of depends on where we get to and how close they are in relation to each other. But the basic idea is that they're making the same movement, and that movement is very inefficient. We know a little bit about some of the things that it does, but when that lead arm is bent in that fashion, and we see it in both players, when it's bent in that fashion, it's you're not creating stretch in the lead arm, you're not creating stretch in the abs, and you're certainly not creating the maximum amount of energy stored in the wrists. And again, we're going to use this tool to show you why that's a big deal. Because as he starts to go, watch the ball start to kind of sneak away from his hands, because he hasn't thrown his hands yet. But by the time he finally gets to a place where he's going to throw his hands, which is just about there, this ball has traveled up or leaked. All that tension in the wrists has leaked this ball all the way up to this point. And then he throws what's left of it at the end. So his hammer action is cut by a certain percentage. And when I say hammer action, when you load the wrists properly, then they unload. And when they unload, you have a tremendous amount of energy that goes into the ball. All the energy that's stored in the wrists are going to go right to the ball. So in this case, all of that energy has crept up to this point before now he's finally going to throw it. So in this case, on the left, we're going to see the same basic movement pattern, and it's no mystery as to why players would copy this, because they're seeing it all the time. They're hearing people talk about it. Keep your hands in, pull your hands in close to your body, keep that left elbow bent. We can't get any kind of barred action because that's terrible. But right now, if he had that bar, if he had the ball on his bat, instead of it resting right here where it should be, if this were locked and this were pushed back, note that the barrel would be in the same spot. So it's not really a longer swing when you lock out the lead arm. That's not the way this works. It feels like, and it sort of looks like you're creating a smaller a smaller swing arc. And well, actually you are creating a smaller swing arc, but that the barrel doesn't actually travel any further when you lock out the lead arm, because of what happens. You push the arm down. If his arm was locked out, his barrel would still be in that same place. But let's see what happens here as he starts to go forward. By this time, the ball on his bat, if he were using this product over here, would have flown all the way just about to the end. And so there's almost none of that energy that he's capable of using. None of that has been stored long enough to be able to actually use it. And that's what we're seeing in this on the right. If we go back to this place, you see the ball leaking, and then finally he throws it at the end. In a great swing, if this were locked out, the barrel would be roughly in the same place, but this ball would be sitting down here right where it started. And then none of that energy would go until the very end, and it would all fly out at exactly the same time with a lot more force. And so that's the basic difference. So this tool will help us kind of figure out what is happening with that. Let's go back to the after swing. And if we were to replace this bat with that product with the ball on top of it, that ball would still be sitting there. It would still be sitting there. And then from here, when he fires his hands, that the ball would fly to the end. And that's why there's a 10-mile-an-hour increase. I mean, when you stop and think about that, 10 miles an hour is a dramatic difference. And the reason that that kind of stuff can happen is because when you start tapping into things one thing after another and you start making them all get in sync, you start to max out each individual element. And this element that we're talking about, the amount of energy that's stored right there in those wrists, it's maxed out if that ball were to stay right on top of your hands, not sliding, 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 and then you throw it. That's not the most efficient way to use that tool or your hands. It's best to get into a position more like this and then throw the hands dramatically, release the hands as the ball shows up and it's time to go and make contact. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you because that's one of those things. We see stuff on TV and we assume because it's coming from a major league player that it's the most efficient way to do something. And this is one of those cases when it's just not. The product is great, but the swing that they're using to illustrate that, I'm not a big fan of. And we could add a lot to that player in a short period of time as well.